He did it, guys. He did it. Gaben has won the console war. This beautiful man right here. Let's look at those eyes. Man that won the console war back in the day. Sony, Xbox. I mean, before that it was Nintendo, Sega. But this current generation, Sony, PlayStation, well, Sony, Xbox, Sony, Microsoft, Nintendo, has been going on for, gosh, a long, long time. But finally, one man emerged victorious, and it was none of those. It was the rise of PC that has taken over the gaming industry. That's what I'm going to talk about. Our first story of the day. It's Gaben winning the console war. So let's look over here. This is from the Red Dragon. Microsoft CEO, we love gaming. We were number 3, number 4. Now we think we have a good chance to be a good publisher.
You know, we've been at gaming, we love gaming. In fact, Flight Simulator was created before even Windows. But we were number 3, number 4. And with now Activision, I think we have a chance of being a good publisher, quite frankly, on Sony and Nintendo and PCs and Xbox. And so, yeah, we're excited about that acquisition closing. I'm glad we got it through. But I think each category by category is the view.
All right. So here he is. They want to be a publisher. They want to focus a lot of their energy on publishing. And then a Red Dragon has a follow-up here. There's a, I don't know if he's like super anti-Xbox fan or Xbox fans give him crap, but look at this. Rumors are swirling that Microsoft has been considering bringing some Xbox exclusives. The rival PlayStation and Nintendo Switch platforms, Sea of Thieves, Hi-Fi Rush, have both reportedly been under cross-platform consideration. When you combine the rumors with recent comments from Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella and Xbox CFO Tim Schwartz, it's clear Microsoft is weighing its Xbox strategy now that Activision Blizzard deal is complete. Wells Fargo Summit in late November, Schwartz detailed that what he described as a bit of a change of strategy for Microsoft Gaming, the division that houses Xbox and Microsoft's overall gaming efforts. Not announcing anything broadly here, but our mission is to bring first-party experiences and our subscription services to every screen that can play games, and said Schwartz, and that means smart TVs, that means mobile devices, that means what we would have thought as competitors in the past, like PlayStation and Nintendo. So, exclusives are out for Microsoft. Well, maybe not completely, but you can definitely see the direction that they're heading. They don't want to put all their eggs in one basket. Let's get as many, let's take, these IPs that we have, lucrative IPs, and rather than trying to kind of leverage them into selling consoles, hey, we'll just sell it wherever we can. Let's get as much money as we can out of these IPs. Of course, now that they bought Activision Modern Warfare, you'd be crazy to try and make an exclusive, to try and sell consoles with that. Why not put it out on everything you can and sell as much software as you can? Especially with the cost of these games nowadays, that's almost what you need to do. Like trying to, I guess before, like trying to get like a $200 million game and then put it on an exclusive console to try and sell that console. Well, in the hopes, like I don't think you'd be able to recoup your money just on one console. It's almost impossible. Unless it's like just sells crazy good. There's a risk to that. So put it out there on everything. Try and get as much money as you can right away for it. It seems to be the deal. And I have to assume that with marketing efforts, the marketing cost of these games, which wasn't factored in to that $200, if you remember the story from last week, I believe it was, about the cost of AAA games. I think it might have been in there or the week before, but, with things like New Horizons or Last of Us costing $200 million to develop. The idea that you'll be able to make that money back, even on like Last of Us 2, which I don't know if it's PC. They released it on PC, but it was a PlayStation exclusive. To be able to try and make that money back, or with the idea, that Sony helps out with that cost, and tries to, or gives them money to develop it. Let me see. Let me switch this border here. Oh, no, you can't quite see all that, but oh well. On the screen. But the idea that they're going to help, publish that game exclusively for the console, this does not seem viable anymore. Also, on the other side of the aisle, it's not just Microsoft. Let's take a look at this.
There is computing.
From J-Rock
Users
here on
will be
Twitter.
able to play their favorite games seamlessly. Gamers will be able to find a place to play in different spaces.
Price to play.
While PlayStation will remain our core product, we will expand our gaming experiences to PC, mobile, and cloud. There is computing.
Oh, finally, we have a place to pray. Let's see. Well, here's the translation for this by PC Focus. PlayStation is going third-party launching games day one on PC. There is computing. Users will be able to play their favorite games seamlessly. Gamers will be able to find a place to play in different spaces. While PlayStation will remain our core, we will expand our gaming experience to PC, mobile, and cloud. So, Microsoft moving over to PC. Well, expanding over into PC, potentially Nintendo and PlayStation with their games, and of course with Activision Blizzard's. When you have like Diablo 4, when you have Modern Warfare, of course you're going to release it on every platform you can. They're just huge juggernauts of franchises. Overwatch, all that stuff. And of course, PlayStation even saying like, hey, day one, we want our stuff out on PC. It's just the smart business move to do. Like trying to make it exclusive is just cutting down the potential sales in the software. And I guess they just do not see the benefit to using games to try to sell consoles anymore. They're just going to have their exclusives. I mean, like they want to be like the console in your home, but they don't. I think they're kind of realizing that a lot of PC players don't really care about console exclusives all that much. They're going to play on their PC, and that's it. So, hey, we'll be that console in your home where you want to play on the couch, and you'll have your PC if you want to play it on PC with the best hardware available. Often, a lot of times, this stuff is going. The hardware in consoles goes or even releases slightly out of date from the best stuff. So being able to play it, being able to mod it, there's a lot of great benefits to playing on your PC. But the big winner, obviously, in all of this, I mean, when you have Sony, Microsoft saying, hey, exclusives are gone, it's Steam, baby. It's PC, and of course on PC, there is no bigger publisher, no bigger game market than Steam. Well, I guess Steam's not really a publisher, but there's no other place to get your games besides Steam. Practically. Let's take a look at these statistics on Steam. This is from 2020. This is Enterprise Apps Today by Barry Eld. This was updated September 17th, 2023. This is pretty crazy. Surprising Steam statistics here. More than 50,000 games are available on US Steam. Steam accounts for 50% to 70% of all PC game downloads around the world. That is an insane market share for PC games. Steam is widely the most used video game distribution platform in the world, with around 75% of the global market. It attracts approximately 20 million gamers every day. Holy smokes. There's in April 2019, there was 1 billion Steam accounts. I mean, this is just insane market dominance in the PC space. Steam controls them. Pretty much everybody knows that. There's also, here's another account. This is from Substack. Game Devs Report. This is by I guess Dmitry, no, Bizhonikov. Sorry if I butchered your name. It's Russian. This is Global PC Games Market Report 2024. 2023 was a record year for Steam. Games worth $9 billion were sold, excluding microtransactions. This accounts for more than 58 million copies, with almost 14,000 games released. Platform's peak concurrent users, CCUs, exceeded 33.6 million. Look at this. You can just keep it going up and up and up. I mean, 2019 to 2020, huge jump. I think it was COVID pandemic, but it's going up even more. This could also just be inflation. Inflating these numbers. It seems 61% of Steam's total revenue was from sales were distributed among top 10 games. This is an interesting graph. We see, like, and I guess that is one of the interesting things about Steam, or maybe that's just interesting in general, but I guess that's kind of like a Pareto principle type of thing. Let's say 61, 80, 20. Top 20% is probably 80% of total revenue. In this case, top 50, top 10 games are 61. Top 50, 85% of the total annual revenue. Some could say that, Steam is sort of funneling people into, top games, like it's only the top games that get it. I'm not 100% sure, like I said. I mean, you look at the Pareto principle, it's something that shows up all the time. So the idea of, the top 20 games accounting for 80% of the revenue, or around 80%, that could just be, the way things go. It's like kind of like the way people kind of buy games, where it's like, something becomes a cultural hit, everyone buys it. It kind of captures the casual market. We're going to be talking about another one that's kind of like really hit off at the start of the year here. That's later in the podcast. I see Baldur's Gate, Hogwarts Legacy, Lethal Company, Subs of the Forest, Starfield leaders on Steam in terms of numbers of copies sold. He's excluded free games from this. I mean, look at this. Baldur's Gate, Hogwarts Legacy, Starfield. This was pretty amazing to see. Top 10 release games in 2023 by units and revenue. With the idea of a Lethal Company, a game made by one person, selling this much. It's just insane. Top 25 releases by full game revenue by units. So selling, like, Lethal Company selling a ton of units, but we go in revenue. Lethal Company sold 8. Baldur's Gate, Hogwarts Legacy, Starfield, Resident Evil 4, Sons of the Forest, Armored Core, doing really well. Good to see. Good to see this was successful. Really enjoyed that game. Lethal Company, again, made by a single person. I think almost $52 million sold. Amazing. You can see just the absolute dominance of Steam and certain games on it. This definitely bodes well for our friend here, Gaben, who controls. I mean, they're really the only people that seem to be holding on to exclusives or plan to hold on to exclusives in the current time is Nintendo. Nintendo, I think, more and more is going to be relying on their first-party games to sell their consoles. And now, of course, with the Steam Deck out, their sort of Switch might be competing with Steam. And they're just giant categories of games. I'd have one comment in a clip about the Steam, or the new Switch being $400, and I kind of mentioned the Steam Deck, that Steam isn't quite, or developers aren't quite optimizing yet for the Steam Deck. So it's mostly when they put out PCs, they're making it for a PC, probably with higher end specs in mind than the Steam Deck. I know the Steam Deck has certain hardware that kind of makes performance harder, or has to be optimized specifically for the Steam Deck. But I can definitely see, as a PC gets more and more games, more and more exclusives that were Xbox and Sony coming to PC day one, the Steam Deck is becoming more and more of an option, more and more a consideration for these developers. So I don't think Nintendo will be in trouble. but it'll definitely be PC may be Nintendo's main competition now in the sort of like mobile console market, and of course in the PC market, there really is no competition. It's all Gaben. So we were talking about video game sales. Let's move on. Today we're going to talk about one I pointed out. So let's see. Oh wait, this is Hogwarts Legacy. This came out quite early, if I remember, in 2023. At least it seems like it's been a long time since it came out. But it was the best-selling video game of 2023. First time a non-Call of Duty. This is IGN by Wesley Yinpool. First time a non-Call of Duty or Rockstar game was the best-selling game of the year since 2008's Rock Band. Matt Pestella, executive director of video games at Circana, noted Hogwarts Legacy was the best-selling game of the year by dollar sales on PlayStation platforms, ranked second on Xbox platforms, and fifth on Nintendo platforms. So, as you can see, best-selling game. This kind of goes back to what I was saying before. Released on all platforms. So, one of the keys to being the best-selling game is to put it out as many places as you can. It beat Activision's Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 for the top spot. EA's Madden 24 came third. Sony's Marvel Spider-Man 2 fourth, and Nintendo's Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom fifth. A really tough lineup to beat. It's kind of amazing that Modern Warfare was not the top spot. It usually is. But I don't know if that's a shift in Modern Warfare is finally starting to fall off. Madden just one of those things just always does well. Release a game every single year. Every single year, people buy it and play it. It's insane how popular football is and football games, but you never really think of it as a video game. Even back in the day, like I remember playing Madden on like 93 on like the Genesis, I believe, and man, it's just still there, just a juggernaut that never gets talked about because it's not interesting whatsoever. Best-selling game. I don't know if you remember, though, there was a lot of controversy surrounding Hogwarts Legacy, where people were calling to boycott it because they don't like J.K. Rowling because she said that women are women, and of course, people have maligned her as a TERF. She doesn't like trans women in women's spaces, so people got very mad, harassed streamers trying to play the game. Obviously there's some very mentally ill people in the trans community, and very antisocial behavior by some of them, causing them to harass people, saying that they were kind of evil if they played this game and supported this game. But obviously it didn't work. Like most boycotts, it didn't work at all. It backfired horrendously. And as we see at the end of the year, Hogwarts Legacy, the best-selling game. J.K. Rowling becomes even richer, despite media and people maligning her and the franchise as transphobic. So it kind of shows you a lot of the stuff on Twitter. Once you apply it to real life, most normal people don't really give a damn at all. But speaking of the things that maybe get blown out of proportion, we're going to move on and talk about Ubisoft. Ubisoft exec, everyone wants to bring in Klaus Schwab. WEF, World Economic Forum guy that I think at one point he said you'll own nothing and be happy about it. I think, or just at least how that's quote's been brought in, shortened. I was trying to find a clip of him saying it, and I can't find it online, so I'm like, or at least it wasn't available right away online, so I'm kind of like, does it exist? If you guys know the clip, send me a copy of it. This is also by Wesley Yinpool at IGN. Ubisoft exec says gamers need to get comfortable not owning their games for subscriptions to take off. And of course, People big into physical game ownership took umbrage with this, but let's read the article. An exclusive at Assassin's Creed maker Ubisoft has said gamers need to get comfortable not owning their games before video game subscriptions can take off. Speaking to discuss the launch of Ubisoft's new Ubisoft Plus and premium Ubisoft Plus Classic subscriptions. Oh boy, another subscription service. Philippe Trembe, director of subscriptions at Ubisoft, explained to GI.biz what needs to happen before subscription services become a more significant slice of the video game business. I don't have a crystal ball, but when you look at the different subscription services out there, we have a rapid expansion over the last couple of years, but still relatively small compared to other models, Tremblay said. We're seeing expansions on consoles as the likes of PlayStation and Xbox bring new people in. On PC, from a Ubisoft standpoint, it's already been great. We were looking to reach out more on PC, so we see opportunity there. See, more PC. Luis Rossman quotes it heavily. Hey, Alpha Sloth, how's it going? One of the things we saw is that gamers are used to, a little bit like DVDs, having and owning their games. This is where people got mad. Consumer shift that needs to happen. They got comfortable not owning their CD collections or DVD collections. That's a transformation that's been a bit slower to happen in games. As gamers grow comfortable in that aspect, you don't lose your progress. If you resume your game at another time, your progress is still there. It's not been deleted. You don't lose what you've built in the game or your engagement with the game. So it's about feeling comfortable with not owning your game. I still have 2 DVD boxes. I definitely understand the gamer's perspective with that. But as people embrace that model, they will see that the games will exist. The service will continue. And you'll be able to access them when you feel like. That's reassuring. So, this quote here by, what was his name here? Philip Tremblay. Saying that people need to get comfortable owning their games. Not owning their games. Oh, I guess he continues quote here. Streaming is also a thing that works really well with subscriptions. So if you pay when you need it, or as opposed to playing paying all the time. And of course, they mentioned that it hasn't gone well with some gamers that prefer to buy and own their video games. This, of course, has been a kind of thing with sort of games moving forward. Last week, we talked about Best Buy removing a lot of their physical media from their area. So, is this, people are, I think, genuinely worried for legit reason. Like, are we going to see games move more and more towards digital? And of course, they mentioned, and even in this article, developer Remedy Entertainment was heavily criticized for releasing Alan Wake 2 as a digital-only video game to keep the price below $70. So some people are releasing digital-only versions of games. And then, to sort of reduce cost, which, I mean, is kind of a nice thing. You have seen, like, the most downloaded game was that Suika game on Nintendo, for their platform, but that's, only $3. You do have, like I said, or like Lethal Company, which, is sort of like cheaper indie games that do extremely well that are already, digital only. They don't want to have their smaller, developer, publisher, self-published. They don't want to have to go through all of the sort of rigmarole of actually, releasing a physical game. So you can have, cheaper games like that. So there's advantages to those sort of things, or you're even seeing like new releases being available on Xbox Plus. Like, hey, new game's out, you can try it for the first month, and then they're kind of hoping that after you try it, you'll like it enough that you'll keep it after that first month, or you'll buy the full version after that first month. And if like you could potentially, still play it and own it, and you just keep your progress after the subscription service, it could be a very compelling way to kind of play a game and try it, and then, I like this enough, I'm going to keep it, or I'm going to buy the full version once that trial period is done. Or if you don't like it, like, screw this, or I just, I beat it within a month. So that could potentially, again, lead to people like, or with like Steam, where you can refund it after the first 2 hours. Kind of developers putting in stuff to kind of get you, trick you into playing for 2 hours, or kind of like make sure you don't put it down for the first 2 hours, get past that area before really getting into the game. That could be a thing, but I'm not sure. But this digital only, like I said, I don't know if it's going to be. I don't know if it's ever going to fully happen. Maybe. It's really hard to say. Like, I can't see people fully giving up physical games. But to be fair, physical games have really kind of gone downhill from the day like they first came out. Like, if you remember back in the day, if you're older like I am, when sort of the games had manuals that were really cool, or they came with stuff that were cool, these like little like thank yous for buying it. I mean, there has been collector's editions that have been coming out. I don't know, a lot of those collector's editions seem expensive for no good reason. I don't know if we'll see a future where the sort of physical version of the game is kind of like a collector's edition. Hopefully not, like people scalping the crap out of it, collector's edition, but something that maybe you will play a little more for, but it's something really neat, something really nice. The game look, the disc itself looks good. It's something that's well put together, as opposed to what you get now, which just seems like the cheapest thing possible to have. And yeah, there used to almost be an art to it. The idea of like, I still remember being a kid, and maybe it's just because I was a kid, but when you had the sort of Legend of Zelda, the original NES carts, the fact that they were like gold, I thought was like super freaking cool. Or even like I don't know, it was like, there was an N64 one that was like gold too, but I can't remember. Was it Pokemon Stadium? One of them, like, instead of like the regular gray, you'd have like a gold version of it. Or like, of course, the carts for Pokemon Red and Blue. You had the red, blue, you had yellow. They're the actual colors of the games. The carts themselves, I thought that was like really cool. I don't know if that seems something that's kind of like lost today in physical media, or doesn't seem as big, this sort of art, kind of selling it, making it look really nice. That has gone away along with these sort of manuals themselves. Now it just, that sort of aspect just kind of fallen at the wayside. But let's move on. Alpha Sloth saying, hey, or I guess Lewis Rodman, he's pro right to repair MacBoard repair guy who moved from New York City. Also, I think I've seen that guy, yeah. I think he was getting sued by a few people. But yeah, where it's like, yeah, people should be able to repair their stuff, or things like, I get what Apple has like a big like a priority software, or like priority parts that you can't mess with, and that kind of stuff, make it hard to take apart and repair. Yeah, that stuff's pretty scummy. Then let's see, Santiago, how's it going? And then there are content creators playing games, making it look cool. I get you to play it like they do with Palworld. Yeah, I've been seeing you post some stuff in the Discord. I'm glad you're enjoying it. I've been enjoying it a lot too. I'm kind of addicted to it right now. It's might be a problem. Let's move on. Let's see. Discussing film. This was kind of an interesting. Take-Two has filed a trademark dispute, saying this logo, Remedy, is too close to Rockstar's logo. And this seems like kind of a crazy lawsuit, because look here and then look here. I mean, is that... I just don't see... Here they are side by side. I don't see it. They look nothing alike. I mean, even the guy right below here with 12K likes, absolutely nothing alike. They don't. This seems kind of frivolous and kind of petty to me. I mean, that R is totally different. Like, I mean, this is like kind of like cut up, bisected. What is? I good luck making that case, I guess. Good luck making that case, Rockstar. I hope you have Rockstar lawyers, because these I don't see it. I do not see how these are similar at all. This looks completely different. Like, even if you look at the having an R, right? Having an R is trademarked by Rockstar Games. If your video game logo has an R, just a giant R. Apparently, you're copyright infringing on Rockstar. Crazy. Oh, but this is just a funny story. Funny little story I saw. This was actually pretty interesting. This is MSI's new monitor. Watch this. This is from TechSource 6 days ago. When I saw this, I thought this was nuts. Watch this.
MEG 32-inch QD OLED monitor is quite possibly the most interesting monitor I have seen in all of CES. Aside from the high-end specs like 4K resolution, 240 Hz refresh rate, and the 0.03 millisecond response time, it has a fascinating AI feature.
Look at this.
They're calling it AI Skylight, and it might just be borderline cheating. So this will detect an enemy's position in the game, and it will mark it right on the screen, making it very easy for you to spot. Now I know what you're thinking, this is basically wall hacks, but not quite. In order for the AI to mark the enemy's location on the screen, it would have to first detect it in the minimap. So technically it's not cheating, but this will add such an advantage to gamers because...
So this is the idea that this monitor can detect this stuff, and also, and then detect, the mini map and kind of give you an on-screen pop-up here. And they also kind of give it. Let's see, where's the example here? Like
to look at the map. Then
this
all of a sudden,
this isn't real. This is sort of a potential breakdown of like if someone popped a UAV in Call of Duty, where they'll be able to show that on screen rather than on the minimap, so you don't have to kind of like look. Almost, it's kind of like looking for you and transposing it. I don't know if that's actually going to be possible with AI, but it is an interesting idea of what could be possible with AI and these monitors. And of course, I think it also shows a feature where
update in real time.
The bar on the bottom. This is just kind of like a dumb little LED feature. They always I don't know why gaming monitors love to put in like weird LED features, but in some ways it's kind of cool.
Where visual of how much HP is left.
It goes up. The bar goes up as your HP goes up. But it is a really interesting idea where this monitor has like its own little AI that can detect and for certain games actually interpret the data that's on the screen and help you with it. So like as it said, like as we said, like just kind of showing you like, hey, look, a guy is on the map up there. Master Yi's up there somewhere. It's like not. I mean, this like it's showing him on a rock, but I think it's trying to tell you that he's up on this area here, up on that top right area, which is pretty interesting. Pretty interesting to see what the future of monitors could get you. I personally, I don't know if that's really going to help. It might help a ton. It might be banned from certain things, but like, how would you be able to detect if the monitor is doing it? Like, how would you be able to detect some of that stuff in game? I think it's essentially just monitor kind of helping you, help telling you where stuff could be. We'll see how that technology goes. It might be. In this example, it kind of makes it seem crazy, with like the sort of Call of Duty example, but in practice, is it really going to be this good? Who knows? Probably not. My guess would be not too much. It's just, especially if it's just interpreting data that's really on the screen already. Finally, this was cool, but finally we get to talk about something I've been obsessed with for the past few days. That is one of the biggest games, Pokemon. Been a franchise for a long time, one of the biggest gaming franchises of all time. It's got some competition. I think it's got some competition now because Palworld is out. Over 1 million Pal Tamers in only 8 hours. I think it released another thing that says, I think like 6 million. But look at this. Palworld has the highest concurrent player count of any paid game in the history of Steam. We can't believe it. Thank you so much to everyone. We really cannot thank you enough. Palworld, all-time peak. Now doing Cyberpunk and Elden Ring, New World, Hogwarts Legacy. Look at all these people. Wow, I can't believe Valheim at 500,000. Well, look at that. Current 1.1 million users concurrently right now I'm actually surprised the game hasn't crashed at all, but I guess that's allowing people to have their own servers really helps. But not everyone is happy with the success of Palworld here. We got plenty of articles to go over, and Palworld could be delightful if it wasn't so invested in being awful. This is from PC Gamer by Lincoln Carpenter. 3 days ago, I was more obligated to keep an eye on Palworld because he's been playing Pokemon on and off for 4/5 of my time on Earth. I'm a card-carrying drawer fortress weirdo, which Palworld's lead dev has cited as his favorite game. Which Palworld, lucky to arrive in a world where Switch's proper Pokemon games are as rough as they've ever been. The open world Scarlet and Violet visibly tearing itself apart at the seams. I actually like this quote: Palworld might have me soaring over a generic Unreal 5 landscape on the back of a knockoff Charizard, but for a brief moment, it's a glimpse of what an open world Pokemon could be. One that isn't flickering in and out of existence whenever you're arrogant enough to move. This is, I think this really is one of the most damning parts of Palworld is like, it is super generic, but it actually works. And I mean, Pokemon, you've seen tons of bugs. It looks good, but the problem is like, it's generic. But when you compare it to Pokemon is a generic, but it doesn't look good. Like all Pokemon had to do was come out with a good-looking world, a good-looking concept. And I think Palworld kind of like takes Arceus, the sort of gameplay, that sort of open-world gameplay that Arceus kind of showed off, but adds a bunch of other stuff to it. And it kind of gives you a very Pokemon-like game with a lot of different features too. It really makes it feel like a really like 3D game. Yeah, South Switzerland is dead, but Alpha is next level militia. Absolutely. Then, of course, he kind of goes, this guy article, I won't read the whole thing. He kind of goes on Pokemon with guns. It certainly does. In a lot of cases, Palworld isn't mimicking pieces. I mean, he kind of goes on to say, like, yes, it does copy, and I'll discuss that later. There's a lot more examples of them copying Pokemon. Doesn't have many problems. I can't say I'm... Let's see, here's where he kind of goes on to say, I can't say I'm particularly disappointed with the lack of more gun-tending pals. Palworld seems self-conscious about it. In my dozen of hours with Palworld, I felt like it was struggling to fill the shock humor quota that its marketing set, and ended up weighing down the pieces that could otherwise be built better. Advance the game, advancing my base requires supernatural talents of my pals. Finding new pals in the wilderness and matchmaking building niches is a mental puzzle I enjoyed. It is a lot of fun. There's a lot of factors to juggle. The problem is juggling the act turns into a slog. I'm not sure if it so that the game can deliver a bad punchline. Palworld isn't really asking what if Pokemon had guns. Palworld is asking what if I could mangle Pokemon beneath the inevitable crushing weight of industry. It's not tongue-in-cheek. It's mid-2000s Newgrounds edgelord. This is where I kind of have a problem with the writer of this, and then across the board is slanted towards getting me to abuse my pals. See, that's the fun of the game, is abusing your pals. We get these cute creatures and you get to put them to work like you're some sort of plantation owner. Smelting ore, of course, you can you can moderate standard you can build to increase my pals' work rate from normal to cruel or even brutal. Focus works faster to work faster, increases their sanity depletion. They have sanity. It's a lot of fun. It's kind of like a weird thing. Maybe that's funny for somebody. I don't know, man. I aged out of shock humor a decade or two ago. I'm not convinced it's enough to sustain a game once the influencer's attention shifts elsewhere. Influencer attention. So like, it's only successful because influencers are telling people to. Even if I can change the world settings to multiply resources and protection rate, Palworld would be better off spending more time and effort finding interesting way to deploy its pals. The game default trickle of resource rates means the faster way for me to get my next upgrade is to capture pals, just to harvest them with a censored butchering animation. Only makes me wish I wasn't wasting my time in the first place. He's very mad. Poor Nathan, or poor Lincoln Carpenter here is upset that you're cruel to your pals. He aged out. He's a very mature guy. He aged out of that sort of edgy humor a long time ago. But there's other people not mad necessarily about the animal cruelty. There is, these people that are little wusses, mad about the cruelty of the pals. But there's also Pokemon fans are not happy at all. Palworld, of course, people are going to repeat the Pokemon with guns. Tom's most played game, but this on IGN, our pal Wesley Yin Pool has kind of I don't know if I want to call this an article because it's a guy posting a bunch of tweets. So, but he did a good job of kind of aggregating some of this stuff about Pokemon fans pointing out that this game is a ripoff of Pokemon, which, I mean, I'm not really going to argue against in a way, but you can kind of see here, this is Gary Meowth's face. And this is, of course, one of the pals. This is a Pokemon for Meowth. So I got to be honest, wasn't like this in My Neighbor Totoro too. Let's be real. Of course, this is a Score Bunny. This is a pal, and I'm saying like, oh, they took different elements of this and added to it. Which, I mean, isn't this like all artwork? All art being derivative. This is Depresso. This is that guy. They do look very similar. I'll be fair. And this, yeah, I can definitely see the resemblance with Meganium. And then, of course, Ligant. This is Robin Quill from the PAL deck. Looks very much like Dulcey. And this is a fan art of a Mega Delphox. And this is an actual PAL. Here. So, and of course, this looks a lot like Lucario. I can definitely see the resemblance. Of course, you'll be pointing out different things here. Then on top of Power Mountain, heavily referencing copying for Pokemon won't harm the Pokemon Company. I don't think people are arguing that. What does come off as kind of shady and lazy. Make something original. And then over here, we got this guy is super mad. I'm the exact opposite of a Nintendo stand or an ARC stand. This is where you say, oh yeah, I'm impartial, but Think Power will make tens of millions of dollars off the most blatant, creative, bankrupt, poorly put together asset flip game is so depressing. Eric Kyrie humbling strategy seems to be theft. Ooh. And then of course this is kind of a good comparison here where you can see that is a PAL design. This is the Pokemon. And you can kind of see there's definitely some inspiration here. Definitely heavy inspiration on some of these designs. But hey, like I said, it's not all artwork derivative. I don't know about the UI saying this kind of copied each other. Like, I guess so. But UI is UI. It's not exactly a huge thing. How many different ways can you put together a tech tree? So this isn't even about stolen or borrowed content either. The entire game is compromised of the Unreal 5 default assets and barely functioning animations. But I think reeks of pump this game out and make some quick bucks, make it some quick millions before it dies off. He thinks this is just, a cash grab here. Let's see. I haven't seen this video. What happens? Punching it. And then, of course, there's someone kind of defending Palworld, or kind of making the point, hey, can I copy your homework? Sure. Just make it look different. This is Dragon Quest, and this, of course, is Pokemon. Dragon Quest coming out before Pokemon, and it kind of shows like, hey, look at all these similar designs here. Did they rip off Dragon Quest? It kind of makes kind of raises the question, like, some of the stuff, from Japanese culture just going to show up in kind of different ways across different works. Like I said before, like all art is kind of derivative in a way. And here's Dragon Quest to Pokemon. I can kind of see it. I can kind of see it here. I think they probably did a little bit better job than Palworld did comparing it to Pokemon to make it look good. But here's another article. This is by Alex Stedman on IGN. Of course, showing off that you can, in fact, capture human beings. This is from Coney, popular streamer. And you just captured a... Well, let's see. Throw your Poke Ball, and you can capture human beings in Palworld, and then put them to work on your in your base.
A captured human.
Yeah.
Galapagos Island captured.
Then, of course, also shows off that this is showing off here. You can butcher.
Never mind. You can butcher the human. Never mind. You can definitely butcher the human.
You can butcher the captured human as well. And then some people getting mad about this. Literally, 4 MA tweets have been saying that being able to catch and sell humans Palworld is a good thing and a reason to buy the game. Yeah, it's funny. Look how much I'm laughing about it. I'll enjoy it. Palworld letting you capture people. Hang on the game. Palworld letting you capture people to do human trafficking. But popped up to telling you that that setting human trafficking is illegal and taboo is really an incredible video game moment, huh? It definitely is. Like, it's inhumane, but we're not going to stop you from doing it. Which is the joy of video games, is that it lets you do stuff you wouldn't normally do. Then, of course, I've been playing Palworld recently, and I thought maybe I should give my Palworld review. Now we've gone over some of the stuff in Palworld. I've been playing it for several hours here. And I mean, the criticisms that there's a lot of stuff that nothing really original in this game is pretty true. Like, it is a really odd game in the fact that, I forgot I had some of my voice on us. The fact that, like I said, like none of it's like really original. Like, from like, you look at the sort of setting itself, like it's very generic default assets. The pals themselves seem heavily inspired by Pokemon. You look at like a lot of the animation stuff. A lot of this stuff's nothing really unique. None of it seems like super high quality either. I think really the only thing that's kind of unique about Palworld is sort of like the sort of absurdity of combining Pokemon with weaponry and like allowing you to sort of fight, butcher Pokemon, enslave them, capture humans. Sort of like, again, this sort of bizarre. It's almost like an X factor in this game. That's like sort of the absurdity of the juxtaposition of Pokemon with firearms and killing them. I mean, obviously they have this sort of like, "Ooh, I'm knocked out" animation, but you're essentially killing them. But and then they kind of add in this sort of base building aspect to it, and like this resource management part of it too. But despite all the stuff that like kind of like, so I've had people ask me like, "Hey, is it worth it? Does it seem like sort of like this like shady cash grab?" And I'm like, in a way, it like has the look of that. There's nothing about it that like screams like, "Whoa, this is just really well made." It is still in early access, but at the same time, like it's super fun. Like I'm really addicted to the game itself. I'm really enjoying playing the game. Despite like all this stuff that like there's really no part of the game that really stands out as like superb. Like this is excellent. Like I said, like the setting super generic. The pals, which it's so amazing like talking to other people about the game, because like pal and Pokemon like almost come out as the same exact word. I mean, you could tell it's like in the mind, the human mind, they're just interchangeable. Maybe that's just because of the way Pokemon sort of shaped monster, that's sort of like genre of anything involving capturing and trading monsters become Pokemon. I mean, it just has a very Pokemon look. And in spite, in spite of all this sort of like generic, mid quality, like good enough, quality artwork, you have, like I said, a really fun game that's just enjoyable to play. I'm killing that poor Rudy. Like I said, the only unique thing I can think about the game is just sort of like the ridiculousness of the game itself is kind of like its most unique, I think, fun aspect of it. But once you like get into the game with the base building, the resource management, just the ability to kind of like run around and capture pals, I think there really is, solid systems there that really let you enjoy the game, and it's got a very addictive quality to it. It's, like I said, Palworld is good. It's a good game, and for $30, it's a game you can easily get your money's worth out of. And I hope they'll continue to support the game, and they've definitely generated enough resources to do that. Let's see, it's already too fleshed out, and there are a few bugs to be considered a cash grab. Yeah, that is like, there's none of it's like super amazing and super polished, but there's enough there that it's like, you can clearly kind of see the concept of the game there, and hopefully they'll add in some more systems to it, but there's clearly enough content that it's not meant to be like, here, we'll just take your money, and then in I like, so Ryan Stone's here. I like when the amount of fun you can sink into the game is a metric. Definitely. Yeah, it's definitely not a cash grab. I think they did enough work here. It is just such a weird game to kind of like talk about, because I think all the criticisms of it being like kind of like a derivative is totally true. But again, there's still something like bizarrely unique that I can't quite put my finger on. Like, as you can see, like this dead direwolf floating in the air on the screen, like bobbing up and down, the body bobbing up and down while I try and capture another direwolf. It's just so unreal, and that I just enjoy so much about it. It just delights me so much. Or like seeing like your chickpea or like lamb bull, like its dead body just ragdoll down a giant cliff. It's goofy in such a fun way. I just enjoy it. It has a something delightful to it that I just can't put my finger on. And of course, like I said, the systems are good enough that you enjoy playing it. Even if it's just for maybe 30, 40 hours, I think it's still enough of a game to be worth your time. I have, fallen through the map several times, especially after my server restarted. Luckily, I wasn't completely stuck. I saw Tom get stuck after he respawned in a wall and wasn't able to get out. Had to respawn again. So there is like a lot of rough edges to this game. But I think even like, something like Valheim, where it was kind of rough and unpolished, but still, you could see the fun underneath it, and like the concept of the game itself was good enough to carry it through and pass these bugs, which it definitely, Palworld definitely does. Like even the base managing aspect of it, yeah, you can sink so much of your time into it, and then you still have, and once you get past that, you even still have like, it's really kind of like fun. Like I said, looking at the world, it's like it is like you can really tell it's UE5. This could be like Sonic Frontiers, right directly into Sonic Frontiers, but it's still fun because like you have the pals around. Like, oh, will I meet a new pal? Will I see something like a shiny? You never know what you're gonna find as you kind of explore the world. And there's even more challenging areas and new pals that I haven't fought yet. So there's that. There's still hours and hours of gameplay. So for me, Palworld is definitely a solid game, worth the time. And I personally find the shock humor, unlike that other guy that currently is too good for that Newgrounds edgelord stuff. I find it quite fun. The idea of that I'm chasing this fox right now, trying to beat it with a baseball bat. I don't know. Maybe I'm just a simple man, but I find something really, really fun about beating these cute Pokemon to death with baseball bats or shooting them to death with crossbows. Maybe I'll get sick of it after 20 hours into it, but right now I'm just enjoying the hell out of doing it. Maybe it'll never get old. Maybe beating cute things to death with a baseball bat never quite gets old, but we'll see. We'll find out. And that's the fun that Palworld lets you have. So that's, I guess, where we're going to end it. Palworld, fun game. Play it. Gaben has won the console war. PC just seems like it's getting stronger and stronger. I'm looking forward to see, but the question is, will we own any of our PC games? I think the stronger and stronger PC games get, it's already with Steam kind of dominating the market. People are used to just downloading it on there and playing it through Steam. So physical ownership, who knows what lies in store here. It hasn't happened to me yet, Santiago, but it's true. You can capture people. Just did. Man, they don't discriminate. Yeah, it is fun when games let you do some really morally questionable things. And you can capture them, butcher them, put them to work on your, making your stuff. They're not super useful, so they don't encourage you to do it. But the fact that you can do it is pretty funny. Though most of the time they seem pretty bugged out when you use them in battle. All right, guys, that's it for the stream. Hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for stopping by. Be sure to like and share. We're getting close to getting I've got enough subs for monetization, or at least the super chats and the memberships. I just need to get the watch hours up, so I'll definitely be seeing copies of this podcast, kind of little clips of it going up. I'm hoping to get out a new Minosphere video soon, but of course Palworld's kind of been obstructing me from doing that. All right, guys, that's it. I'm gonna end it for this time. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll talk to you later. Goodbye.